this is our first guy.
You know I hate this dirtbag. He's getting caught today. I'm John Walsh, and I've dedicated my entire life to locking up the worst criminals.
We're tracking down one of the most ruthless gangs of lawbreakers we've ever gone after.
My son Callahan and I are fired up. With your help, we're coming for fugitives, hunting them down, and putting them right where they belong, behind bars, including these that you'll see tonight. First, a 19-year-old National Guardsman ambushed and gunned down. In an AMW exclusive, the chilling surveillance footage that helped police ID a dangerous gang member suspected of his murder, Joseph Matos. Then, Catfish host Neve Schulman helps us decipher clues in a twisted case involving an accused wife killer using dating apps to stay one step ahead of the law. Donald Hodges is online and on the run. And finally, an 11-year-old girl vanished without a trace, allegedly hidden for years by her own mother. Elizabeth Smart joins us to examine new evidence and a major breakthrough in this 6-year-old mystery. Help us find Jennifer Settle. America's Most Wanted is the original true crime series. You can run, but you can't hide. Hello, everybody. I'm John Walsh, and America's Most Wanted is back. Back to give voice to victims with a relentless pursuit of justice. Back to give power to you, the viewers, to help us track down the most dangerous fugitives in America. And I'm excited to have my son Callahan by my side. He's always there.
Thrilled to be here. A lot has changed since my father began this fight in 1988. Thanks to your tips, 1,198 fugitives have been captured.
Ever since my 6-year-old son Adam was abducted and murdered, I pledged to go after lowlifes in towns and cities everywhere. For us, it's not just personal, it's a promise to never give up on trying to find answers for families and deliver the nation's most dangerous fugitives to law enforcement. Last season alone, with your help, we took these 7 fugitives down. Take a good look. Since our last episode, we've celebrated the arrest of suspected child molester Davy Albaran.
Thank you to America's Most Wanted and anybody who called in with the tip that helped get justice for my daughter. And we did it!
But the captures didn't stop there. We also put 6 more lowlifes behind bars. First, suspected serial stalker Jacob Smart was taken into custody in Washington State. Then, Taji Michael, wanted for the murder of Sacramento football star Najee Grimes, was arrested in North Carolina.
We want to thank the viewers of America's Most Wanted for helping us to bring justice for the Grimes family and ultimately bring Taji Michael to justice.
Then, convicted drug dealer David Young finally faced the music when cops busted him in Sonora, Mexico. Young was a member of the street gang allegedly responsible for selling the drugs that killed Dylan Jones. Authorities also put Tyler Wilkinson behind bars in Orange County, California. Wilkinson is suspected of selling the counterfeit pills that killed 17-year-old Brooke Badger.
Orange County Sheriff's Department is very grateful. We were able to ultimately get the tips in, which led to the arrest of Tyler Wilkinson.
And finally, U.S. Marshals arrested suspected kidnappers Luis and Andrea Ramirez and returned Lucito and Camila to their aunt.
But the fight goes on, and it's your loyalty and your tips that drive us to get these lowlifes off the streets.
We couldn't do it without the dedication of local, state, and federal law enforcement, along with some incredible advocates and survivors who fight for justice every day. One of them is Elizabeth Smart, a child abduction survivor ready to lend her expertise on an unsolved missing persons case. Every minute counts, so let's saddle up. Our first case tonight is a heartbreaking National Guardsman's murder. Just 19 years old, he was fresh out of boot camp, and he was shot and killed, not in battle, but simply because he went to a party in his hometown of Chicago.
Tonight, in an AMW exclusive, a never-before-seen surveillance video shows how the FBI ID'd 2 gang members suspected of the crime. And with your help, we can finally give a grieving family the justice they need.
19-year-old Chris Carvajal was an innocent bystander that was gunned down and killed on July of 2021. The 19-year-old victim was a National Guard member who had recently returned home from boot camp.
My name is Lourdes Lara. I am Chris Carvajal mom. Chris was a beautiful young man. Happy birthday to you. Chris was not only my son. Chris was my friend, my confidant, my baby.
Even though I'm the oldest, I feel like Chris was the leader of the pack. He was always the responsible one that you could go to for any advice. My mom did really good showing him like his morals and that we should always help others before we help ourselves. Chris was the first in our family to enlist to the National Guard and protect this country. His goal was to become a police officer. Chris came back after 9 months of basic training. We were so proud of him and just so happy to have him back here. July 2nd, 2021, Chris decided to go out. He went to like a house party. He was enjoying the night, but apparently Chris needed to get something from his car.
The initial 911 call was a person calling shots fired. They also stated that they observed a male laying on the ground. I arrived around 2:30 in the morning. There was crime scene tape and patrol vehicles with their lights on, cordoning off the area. Shell casings were discovered where the shooting occurred. Our usual procedure is to start seeing if there are any witnesses and also identify any possible video of the crime. Video from a private surveillance camera actually caught the entire incident. It shows Chris run down the street by himself. As he's approaching the intersection, a red car approaches. Chris continues south towards his vehicle. That red vehicle moves forward a few feet, and an individual exits the passenger side and begins firing a handgun. When the officers responded to the scene, they discovered Chris lying face down, unresponsive on the sidewalk. And they then transfer him to Illinois Masonic Hospital, where he's eventually pronounced deceased by the doctor.
It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and my sister called me. I had a gut feeling that it was something like really bad with Chris.
That night, the detectives say he passed away. I say, no, this can happen. I say, maybe you had the wrong person. He say, no.
Why him? He never got into fights, never had any type of altercation, so why him?
The fact that video shows the entire incident, it's critical. We were able to determine a license plate of that vehicle. We were able to run it in the Secretary of State database. We then see who the registered owner is, Joseph Matos. Matos had an extensive criminal history going back to 2001.
Matos was a member of the Milwaukee Canes, a notoriously violent street gang based on the northwest side of Chicago. Despite their small numbers, like most street gangs, there is a hierarchy, and Matos was widely considered to be the second in command.
I'm never gonna forget the 4th of July. Never.
To his killers, Chris was just some nameless random notch in their belts. But he has family. He was a soldier. a brother, a son with very big dreams and a bright future.
Please, we need your help finding Joseph Matos. Take a look at these important clues. Matos is a Latino male, 42 years old, 6 feet 2 inches tall, about 220 pounds, and goes by the nickname Troubles. It's like this guy is begging to get caught. Check out the tattoo Most Wanted across his abdomen, and he's literally wearing a sign around his neck. M-Town Kings on the right side, and the tattoo 1300 on the left side.
The FBI considers him armed and very dangerous, and they're offering a reward of up to $25,000 for any information leading to his arrest and conviction.
We have other critical details about this case we need to share with you. Plus, we'll talk to someone who's been on the inside, a former gang leader, about what fuels this kind of violence. Stay with us.
Coming up, we have a tragic story about a fugitive who will make you think twice before hitting like on a dating app. Neve Schulman from Catfish will join us to break down the risks of digital dating and how a dangerous predator could be hiding in plain sight. Plus, we've got a crucial new lead on a missing girl, allegedly taken by her mother after a bitter custody battle. But first, we need your help with this case. They say diamonds are forever, but not in this case, where 8 suspects robbed a jewelry store of $90,000 worth of merchandise in less than 20 seconds. It all started on January 6, 2025, at the Dubai Jewelry Store, located in the Greece Ridge Center Mall in Greece, New York. Watch as the first suspect leaps over the counter, immediately grabbing necklaces. Store employees try to intervene, but 5 more thieves rush in, overwhelming them. The suspects smash display cases with a baseball bat, snatch jewelry, and flee, all before security guards can stop them. 3 of the 8 suspects have been arrested. 5 remain at large. These scumbags wore masks and gloves. And take a look at this guy's sweatshirt design. Do you recognize it? If so, we want to know. Please send us your tips. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to America's Most Wanted. 2 members in a Chicago-based street gang thought taking a life would earn them respect on the streets. Now we need your help to find this coward, Joseph Matos, so we can put him behind bars where he belongs.
Chris was on a right path in life. He did not deserve this.
Once investigators identified Joseph Matos as the owner of the red vehicle, they quickly determined he was the driver during the shooting. But finding out who allegedly pulled the trigger took more work. Through grainy surveillance footage, cell phone records, and interviewing witnesses, detectives uncovered the alleged shooter, another violent member of the Milwaukee Kings, Gary Roberson.
Carvajal had no ties to any gangs in the city of Chicago. Roberson allegedly shot at Chris Carvajal simply because he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. The Kings are notoriously violent. They've been known to shoot first and ask questions later. The shooting was a way for them to either maintain or increase their status within the gang. Charges against Matos and Roberson include a lot of different acts of violence. It was determined that SWAT would be best suited to do these simultaneous hits. While SWAT was getting ready to execute the warrants, Roberson stepped out of his residence and was ultimately taken into custody by the surveillance team. Unfortunately, Matos was not located. He's got a myriad of tattoos to include 1300 on the side of his neck, Heaven Sent, Hell Bound on his arms, and Most Wanted across his belly.
We need justice for Chris. We were very proud of him. We will always be proud of him.
We live 2 blocks from the cemetery, and I talk to him. I pray. And sometimes I feel better, sometimes it's hard. And his letters, he always wrote to me, Mommy, today is Sunday. My faith and your prayers give me strength.
I am so proud of myself to be an American soldier. I am so proud to be your son. Thank you for everything.
Joining us now is Tyrone Muhammad, a former gangster disciples leader who served 21 years in state prison, turned his life way around, and is now the executive director for Ex-Cons for Community and Social Change.
Thank you, John Patton.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
You know this case. Generally, what could lead to a situation like this?
In this case, it seemed like a senseless killing.
Do gangs do a random murder like that for street cred, to get credibility on the street?
That does happen. From my understanding of evidence, I'm looking at a mistaken identity.
Yeah.
Where they was looking for someone in that particular area, and I think Chris fit that description.
Yeah.
And that's often how we operate. It's impulsive. We see somebody or we think that's a description, we go into action. And oftentimes you find out later that that was the wrong person. It's rather puzzling to me that it's his own car. It's just because it was too quick, too fast. That was something that Matos and them didn't even expect.
Uh-huh. So they could track him through the car, right?
Absolutely.
Well, how do you think we catch him?
Matos, it would probably come from within his own clique in his own circle, especially given the fact that now there's a reward out for his arrest.
Someone from his own gang, maybe.
The reward is big enough. It denotes the seriousness.
And I know a lot of bangers watch this show. They watch it to see if their cousin's on it or some other gang, you know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So,
we watched it.
Yeah, you watched it. I don't need to know your name, where you live. Just tell me where the dirtbag is and we'll go get him.
Absolutely.
Cal, tell us about this creep.
Joseph Matos is a Latino male, 42 years old, 6 feet 2 inches tall, and about 220 pounds. Carvajal's murder occurred in 2021 in the Belmont-Cragen neighborhood of Chicago. He also has contacts in Los Angeles and Bedford, Texas. If you think you recognize someone who fits the description, don't approach him. Call 1-866-AMW-TIPS or go to amwtips.com. The FBI is offering up to $25,000 for information leading to his arrest and conviction. And remember, your tips are anonymous and your identity is protected.
Coming up, a giant of a man with a violent past is accused of murdering his wife in cold blood, and he could be getting help from the people he meets on dating apps. But first, we need your tips to help us with this case. A brazen ATM theft in Toledo, Ohio. Watch as this maroon GMC truck, caught on surveillance video, drives up to the Toledo Urban Federal Credit Union carrying suspect number 1. Moments later, suspect number 2 arrives on the scene in a skid steer that was stolen from a nearby construction site. The perp then motions to the truck to loop around, making a critical error in the process, showing their face. But it's hard to make it out, so take a closer look. Watch as the skid steer tries several times to knock the ATM on its side, damaging it in the process. After 90 seconds, the ATM topples over, landing perfectly in the next lane, paving the way for the maroon truck to barrel through, stealing the ATM and all the contents inside. The skid steer was recovered, but these suspects remain at large. If anything here looks familiar to you, call us or go to amwtips.com. More cases after the break. Welcome back. While some fugitives have features that make them easy to identify, like tattoos, for others it's their size. In this case, the bad guy is also a big guy, a 6'6", nearly 300-pound man who's hard to miss, yet somehow he's disappeared. This towering dirtbag is accused of a brutal crime. Investigators say he allegedly murdered his own wife, leaving her family to make the heartbreaking discovery.
In the wee hours of May the 5th at 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a large man acting erratic.
Sir! Hey! Sir! There's somebody in here! Take the door! Listen.
During this incident, Charlotte PD had absolutely no idea that this person had allegedly just killed somebody.
Tanika was a very sociable and outgoing person. She was my godmother. My mom worked, so anytime my mom needed to call her for me and my sister, she was always there. She helped put me through college. She was very, very generous. She'd give you the clothes off her back. She was working at Flowers Baking here in Conover.
That's where she met Donald. That was the big mistake of her life.
Donald was very controlling. I mean, we couldn't even just go out to eat without him coming around.
He kept his eyes on them.
Donald had two sides. To Tanika, he was charming, loving, and supportive. But the family saw the other side of Donald.
I did warn Tanika, but she was already down too deep. Tanika and Donald were only dating for 8 months, and then they got married. I mean, she's a grown woman. She's going to do what she wanted to do, but I was very, very worried.
May the 5th, 2022, her friend called to tell me that Tanika did not come to work. She said, you need to go down there because something is wrong. And so I opened the door and I got to Tanika's room. I said, Tanika, Mama been trying to call you. She didn't say nothing. So when I run around on the side of the bed, that's when I seen the great big hole in her face. And I said, oh my gosh, my baby's dead, my baby's dead.
I just remember pulling up. The house is surrounded by caution tape, police everywhere. I just remember jumping out of the car and just running to my mama and hugging my mama. I feel like the world stopped.
We found a couple different shell casings, and then we realized the whole house was covered under video camera. So this led to a major breakthrough in the investigation. The video revealed that Tanika arrived home from work on the 4th of May. Tanika was never on another video, coming in or leaving from the home. Later on in the night, when we think that the murder took place, Mr. Hodges left in a calculated state. When we took a look at Mr. Hodges' background, it was evident that he was a convicted felon. He had weapons charges, he had assault charges. So when we put all the evidence together, Mr. Hodges was immediately a suspect.
But what investigators didn't know at the time was that 4 hours after Tanika's murder, Donald Hodges had entered a hotel 40 miles south in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Listen. Hey. My wallet's out there, man. I got your wallet.
He was acting erratic, scaring hotel employees, seemingly under the influence of drugs.
Why are you sweating so bad, man? No judgment or anything. Have you taken anything tonight? Yes, I have. Okay.
And when first responders on the scene asked him his name, he lied.
When law enforcement on site took a look in his wallet, they discovered his Social Security card, and that's when they discovered his name was. During this incident, Charlotte PD had absolutely no idea that this person had allegedly just killed somebody.
Donald Hodges is still on the run, and authorities need your help to track him down. Now, he's 6'6", 273 pounds, with a muscular build. He's bald, has brown eyes, and typically sports a beard. Hodges has distinctive tattoos, including an OG on his chest. Now, coming up, investigators discover the way this scumbag might be getting help while he's on the run by using dating apps. This guy could be lurking in somebody's inbox right now. But before the break, we need your help solving this case. The nationwide manhunt rages on for a Texas man accused of opening fire at a popular sports bar, injuring 3 people. It all allegedly began when 48-year-old Larice Evans, seen here in green, gets into a fight with not 1, not 2, but 3 security guards. A few hours later, Evans returns, now dressed in all black, but this time he's armed. The suspect fires 6 shots at close range, striking 3 people, including a security guard. When an off-duty deputy attempts to intervene, Evans allegedly turns and fires back, thankfully missing. Luckily, all 3 gunshot victims survived. Larice Evans is 6 feet tall, weighing 180 pounds. He has distinctive tattoos, including 2 on his forearms, 1 reading Hood, and the other Rich. If you have any information about him, call us or go to our site. Let's get these dirtbags. Welcome back. When Charlotte Mecklenburg police responded to a disturbance at a hotel, they didn't realize they were staring down a violent suspect, Donald Hodges, a man who allegedly killed his wife just hours earlier. Now this dirtbag, who's facing first-degree murder charges, is on the run.
And investigators have uncovered how Hodges might be staying one step ahead by using dating apps.
When law enforcement entered a hotel in Charlotte, they discovered Donald Hodges.
I feel like I'm about to pass out.
He told the first responders that he wasn't sober and wanted help. He was escorted to an ambulance and taken to Atrium Medical Center. Well, it wasn't long, and he decided that he was going to leave.
After a month of no leads, Conover Police Department believed Hodges had fled the area. So they contacted the U.S. Marshals Service to assist with the case.
As we started looking into Donald Hodges' life, we did uncover several dating websites that he had used before the homicide. Some of the dating profiles are known gay sites, so we know that he had almost like a chameleon effect, where he could blend in and meet people, make new friends very easily, and he used that to his advantage to take advantage of other people. As part of our investigation, we interviewed Hodges' previous girlfriend. We learned that during their relationship, he was abusive.
There were 2 sides to Donald. He was sweet, genuine, caring, loving guy. He paid my bills, he cooked, he cleaned, and then he'll turn into a demon. He strangled me, putting knives to my throat, telling me that if I ever tell anybody, I would never see my children again.
After ending the relationship in July of 2019, Monique placed a protective order against Donald, where she detailed his heinous abuse. While in court, Monique came face to face with the new woman in Donald's life, Tanika.
The last and final court date, I went to her and I shook her hand. She shook my hand extremely hard and placed her other hand on top of it. And she just stared, and then she let my hand go, and that was it. It was as if she was saying, I know exactly what you were going through. Donald is pure evil. Bringing Donald to justice would be everything to me.
He need to pay for what he did. It would take all this pain away, all of it.
Tanika meant everything to me. I want justice for her and to know that we didn't give up.
Someone knows Donald Hodges. Someone has seen him, someone is engaged with him. We did uncover that Donald Hodges was not active on any of his known dating profiles after Tanika's murder.
But we believe that Donald Hodges is still using dating websites to meet both men and women.
Possibly using a catfish method where he posts someone else's picture to his profile in order to evade capture.
We need the public to be vigilant because he is dangerous and he is out there.
We're joined now by Neve Schulman, an expert on people who misrepresent themselves in online relationships. In fact, he documented his own experience of being deceived online that led to the hit TV show Catfish. With your expertise and knowledge in social media, why do you think Hodges is allegedly using these dating apps to stay on the run?
Social media provides a perfect landscape for him to not only make new connections in any city or town he might choose to go to, but also establish emotional connections with people to then prey on their vulnerability and get them to help him out. So we know that Hodges is very good at winning people over. And unfortunately for Tanika, she learned the hard way that he can't be trusted.
What are some of the red flags that you've seen where people make connections to people they don't really know?
Let's start with something called love bombing. Oftentimes in new online relationships, people will very quickly give a lot of attention to this person in an effort to really get them to fall in love with them. Conversely, if someone's avoiding meeting up or talking on the phone or FaceTiming for too long, that's also a red flag.
Right.
What happened with me was I met a family through MySpace, ended up developing a romantic interest in the older sister. And what we discovered was that the 14 different profiles with whom I'd been speaking were actually all the creation of one woman.
All 14?
Yeah. She had created this entire world to communicate with me and escape her reality. People who are looking to get your sympathy and attention will come up with big stories about how they're sick. They get you to then feel sorry for them, and oftentimes that then leads to money, which is the last big red flag. Once they see that you're willing to send money, then they start asking for more, and the asks get bigger.
Sort of testing the waters with these low sums. The next thing you know, it's a few $1,000s.
And if you say no, you probably won't hear from them again. But if you say yes, they'll just keep coming back.
If someone sees Hodges, what should they do?
They should report on the platform the profile in question.
If see something, say something, doesn't it just apply to the real world?
No, yeah, absolutely. Online, it's really important that if you do see something suspicious, you report it.
Great advice. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks
a bunch. Hodges is on the move. Let's take a closer look. It starts in Conover, North Carolina, where he allegedly murdered his wife. Hodges may have moved north to Philly, where he has family. And there's New York City. Hodges reportedly brags about being from there and has family in that area as well. Take a look at him. Donald Hodges is 6'6", 273 pounds with a muscular build. He's bald, has brown eyes, and typically sports a beard. U.S. Marshals are offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to his arrest and conviction. If you spot him, call us at 1-866-AMW-TIPS or go to amwtips.com.
Coming up, an important update on a case we brought you 4 years ago involving a missing girl, a mother on the run, and a grieving father desperate for answers. You don't want to miss what's next. Welcome back. Elizabeth Smart. You know her as a child abduction survivor. She was taken in 2002, held for 9 long months, and then went on to testify against her captors, which led to their convictions. Well, she's here to help us with a major break in a case we started tracking 4 years ago. It's a case that has haunted a father for years. His daughter, McKenna Butcher, was just 11 years old when she vanished, allegedly taken by a person meant to protect her, her mother.
The mother, Jennifer Settle, allegedly defied a judge's custody ruling, then disappeared without a trace, leaving McKenna's father desperate for answers.
Jennifer and I first met in 2005. We hit it off very well. She knew what she wanted in life, and we both agreed we'd like about 3 children if we could. So eventually we get married.
He adored her. This was his first marriage, and he had waited his whole life for her.
Jennifer got pregnant with McKenna very early. I love children, so we were both very happy. But after a few months, she started to change mentally.
She was very jealous and possessive. Jennifer insisted that Michael distance himself from any other female in his life.
A lot of these things are just not normal behavior, but you get sucked in because you try to do things to keep her happy. When McKenna came along, Jennifer was very protective.
Jennifer was very controlling. If she needed to hand something to McKenna, she would not allow me to do that. She insisted that McKenna must see it coming from her hand.
In 2008, when McKenna is only 8 months old, Jennifer separates from Michael and takes McKenna to live in Greenville, South Carolina.
I received a phone call from Jennifer announcing that she was moving herself and McKenna back to her parents in Greenville because we were running out of money and I had done nothing to provide for the family.
Jennifer convinced us that he was a danger to both her and McKenna.
She had to paint a picture of me as being abusive, as being manipulating, as being a liar. This gave her the excuse of why she'd undertaken the actions that she had.
She took McKenna and ran. She didn't want any child support because she said, no way, because that makes it so that he can come see her. He can get visitation.
She would not allow her child to go to school. McKenna was not allowed to have any other friends. Her mother was her only friend.
She stopped communicating with me so I could have no interaction with my daughter.
8 years passed before Michael was able to arrange supervised visits with McKenna. But to keep them, in 2019, he went to the authorities for help.
Michael took Jennifer to court because he wanted to see his daughter. He was eventually granted visitation rights, but Jennifer was not going to have that. The court determined that Jennifer was an unfit parent for McKenna. The judge was going to give total custody to Michael.
Jennifer had failed to show up at the court hearing. Based on that, an arrest warrant was issued by the family court.
Jennifer has torn our family apart. She took McKenna away from all of us.
It's been years now since I've seen my daughter. McKenna doesn't know that she's been brainwashed and mentally abused all these years, and I wanted to protect her from that. I've lost a child, and she's going to come back now as an adult. I'll have never, never held her hand or helped her across the road or, done all the things that dads do.
She's not had a normal life, and she's been cheated out of so many rich relationships. It's been heartbreaking.
I just want to see my daughter again.
Here to talk about the new lead and what it could mean in this heartbreaking case is someone who knows firsthand the horror of a child abduction, Elizabeth Smart. Beautiful lady, it's always great to see you. I always say the same thing, you're the bravest woman I ever met. And you helped bring back 2 kids last year.
Like, how amazing is it that we got to be a part of that? Camilla and Luisito were both found, and isn't that the miracle that we hope happens for every family who comes on this show?
Well, you were such a wonderful help and great working with you, but this is a heartbreaking case. How might Jennifer be keeping McKenna under wraps and under her control?
It is her mother, first off. I mean, I think as a child, you just naturally have faith and trust in your parents right from the get-go. I think of my own case, my captors controlled me within a matter of months. And if she has been homeschooling her and really grooming her all of this time, she's had a lifetime to control her.
McKenna is 17 now, but it's going to be harder to control this girl, don't you think?
Absolutely. I think it's going to be harder. If McKenna has a strong bond with her father and she remembers her father in a positive light, she remembers him being there for her, loving her, protecting her, I think those memories will win out.
Right. It's a big search for this mother. How do you think she's staying out there so long?
So she does have marketable skills. She could work on cars. She has ability in construction.
And we learned that they were into horses beforehand.
Maybe that's one of her controls over McKenna is, I'm going to buy you this horse, but I need to make sure you're following the rules.
She could be working on a ranch to afford those horses. So we want people in the horse world to take a good look at this mother.
She's also very capable at manipulating other people's emotions. So it could be through boyfriends, intimate partners. It could also be through church.
She could be that poor, downtrodden mother with a child.
Exactly.
If McKenna's watching now, doesn't really know she's missing or anything, what would you tell her?
I hope she knows that there is millions of people who are looking for her and want to see her come home, want to see her in her rightful place. Everyone who watches this show, I hope they will take action if they see something suspicious. Miracles happen every day. Why not today?
Why not today? Cal.
The images we have of McKenna are back from when she was a child. McKenna would be 17 now, so take a good look at this new age progression of what she may look like today. We know she has blue eyes and brown hair. She was allegedly taken by her mother, Jennifer Settle, from Taylor, South Carolina in 2019. She has family in Greenville, South Carolina, but as we've just learned, she sold her vehicle to a man in a rural area outside Bozeman, Montana, so she could be living there with McKenna in that area. Settle has also lived in Tennessee, Colorado, and New Mexico, and has contacts in Maryland. Back to you, Dad.
Elizabeth, we're going to be seeing a lot more of you because we've got exciting news we want to share with you right now. Our mission just got a whole lot bigger. We're adding a brand new show to the AMW family. It all starts next week, right here on Fox. Take a look.
There is absolutely still hope that he's out there, that he's alive.
America's Most Wanted, Missing Persons, is coming next week.
Do you think it's a possibility she doesn't even know that she's a missing child?
And we need your help to bring the missing home to their loved ones.
That's why we're doing this. If we can help one family, it might make sense of it.
Next Monday on Fox at 8, 7 Central, before an all-new America's Most Wanted.
There's somebody out there that needs to be asked some hard questions.
We'll be right back. Let's recap some of our cases and the fugitives who need to be caught. Joseph Matos, or as he calls himself, Troubles, has tattoos that literally spell out Most Wanted. The FBI is offering up to $25,000 for the tip that puts him behind bars.
Donald Hodges, this oversized lowlife, is 6'6", 273 pounds, and allegedly is using his charm and possibly dating apps to manipulate people into giving him shelter and money. He also has distinctive tattoos, including OG on his chest. U.S. Marshals are offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to his arrest and conviction.
And finally, take another good look at this age progression of McKenna Butcher. She would be 17 years old today. She has blue eyes, brown hair, and was last seen in South Carolina in 2019 when her mother, Jennifer, allegedly took her and vanished. We've now learned Jennifer sold her vehicle to a man outside Bozeman, Montana.
If you have any information, don't wait. Call 1-866-AMW-TIPS or visit amwtips.com.
Now, before we go, let's take a quick look ahead to next week and a fugitive we're hunting for. It was a brutal crime with a fiery end. A woman is found dead in her apartment, but the flames can't hide the truth. Now the hunt is on for her boyfriend, who allegedly turned their romance into a deadly nightmare.
Thank you for watching. I'm Callahan Walsh. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
And I'm John Walsh. Remember, you can make a difference.